Good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio. Question of the morning: will the 13th time be the charm? Chinese trade representatives will be flying to Washington this week to meet with members of the Trump administration in an effort to jumpstart trade talks. Many believe, though, that Beijing's participation is more about holding off additional tariffs than it is about ending outright the trade war. That's not the news Ohio soybean farmers wanted to hear. It is harvest time for their crop, a crop they planted in the spring in hopes that by fall there would be a resolution. Looking ahead to 2020 now, they've got some tough decisions to make. Taking advantage of a needed dry day, Portage County farmer Chuck Sayre begins the harvest of the first of his family's more than 1,000 acres of soybeans. 2 years ago, a third of Ohio's largest crop would have ended up in China. This year, hardly any will.
When you play a chess game with a foreign nation, sometimes you lose, and I think we lost this one.
When China announced a 25% tariff on U.S. soybeans last summer, an Ohio State University study estimated at the time that the hit on Ohio farmers' net income could be as high as 59% over 6 years.
Here we are. Yeah, we're soybeans were $15 to $16 per bushel. Now they're $8 to $9 per bushel, so it's half. Our income's half.
For the past year, Sayre said, farmers were told by Washington to be patient, and patient they have been. Their burden is one they believe that hasn't been shared.
The thing that makes me the most angry, and most farmers the most angry, is we were decided to be the ones to shoulder the brunt of the tariffs, to fix the world economy.
And here's the dilemma. Even if the tariffs are lifted tomorrow, many believe sales to China would not return to their pre-tariff levels because they have turned to other countries for soybeans like Brazil, leaving farmers like Sayre with a decision to make: stick with the soybeans they've grown for 30 years or switch to other crops like corn, which will come with expenses.
Like, for instance, the combine right there behind you, it takes different heads on it to combine different products. Those heads, just the front of that machine right there, can be a $100,000 switch. So if you gamble and you make the wrong choice, you don't eat.
Still, it's a move they will likely make, and a cost they will reluctantly have to absorb.
We're shouldering all the burden, and nobody else is doing that. It's not fair. It's not fair at all.
And while many will point to increased subsidies from Washington in an effort to help farmers absorb this hit, Sayre is quick to point out that many of those are geared towards large corporate farms, with smaller family farms like theirs failing to qualify. Well, speaking of China, we've been seeing a lot of that country on television ads recently.
The Chinese government is quietly invading our American electric grid, intertwining themselves financially in our energy infrastructure.
Now, to be clear, President Xi is not amassing troops with extension cords off the shores of Lake Erie, ready to take over Perry Nuclear or Cleveland Public Power. This is a political ad that goes further than most in attempting to keep people from signing a petition to place on the ballot a question that would call for the repeal of the so-called nuclear bailout bill. But Attorney General Dave Yost this week said the strong language goes beyond the ads to allegations of harassment and intimidation against those working to collect signatures needed to put it on next year's ballot.
People that oppose this referendum have a First Amendment right to oppose it and to speak out, but that right ends where intimidation and coercion begin. The bottom line here is knock it off. I don't know the degree to which things that are alleged are actually happening. There's a lot of disinformation out there swirling around this referendum campaign. But respect your neighbors, respect their rights, and most of all, respect our society and our system here in Ohio that allows for a referendum, allows for petitions, allows for free speech.
And the anti-bailout camp has until late October to collect the more than 260,000 signatures. Collecting that many signatures to put an issue on the ballot is never easy, but it was done 10 years ago this fall. The question at the time: should we allow casino gambling in the state? We know it passed, but 7 years after the Jack Casino Cleveland opened, they're looking to add a new amenity in the form of a new pedestrian bridge. When the downtown casino first opened in 2012, there was no bridge linking the parking garage to the casino itself, leaving patrons to deal with the elements after parking. A year and a half and $7 million later, that would change with the opening of this. The span recently decked out for the All-Star game. Now the Jack Casino is looking to add a second span just north on Ontario that will connect the casino's third floor to the May Company garage. The May building is undergoing a $140 million transformation by Dan Gilbert's real estate arm Bedrock into a mixed use of office and residential. The bridge would provide a direct connection between the May garage for casino guests and office workers, with Gilbert's Quicken Loans operating in the Higbee on the floor above. On the May side of the street, plans call for this facade to be replaced with a new 11-story glass elevator to open it up and make it more inviting. The May Company project is slated to be completed next year, and if they can clear the regulatory hurdles with the city, their project will take about 14 months to complete. With Democracy 2019, I'm John Kosich. Enjoy your Sunday.